I remember the exact moment I snapped. The room was quiet, but my chest was pounding so loud I thought he could hear it. I was staring at my hand shaking over my glass, and for the first time I realized, betrayal isn't just a cut that hurts. It's a fire that eats you from the inside. He didn't even know I knew. The way he laughed, the way he thought I was just blind. But I wasn't. I saw everything. Every little lie, every hidden message, every look he gave that wasn't mine. And right there, in that dimly lit room, I made a choice. I wouldn't cry. I wouldn't beg. I would make sure he never forgot what he did. And sitting on the counter, just out of reach, was the phone. The proof. The thing that would change everything. And I knew, the worst was only just beginning. I tried to tell myself it was nothing. That maybe I was imagining things. But every day, the distance between us grew like a silent wall. Nights were the worst. Our bedroom, once warm and familiar, had become cold. I'd lie there, staring at the ceiling, hearing the soft hum of the city outside, while he rolled over, already asleep, like I wasn't even in the room. Dinner used to be our little escape, our quiet ritual. Now, it was a battlefield of tiny, cutting words disguised as jokes. "You always worry too much," he'd say, smiling, unaware of the storm brewing behind my eyes. I'd nod, sip my wine, and bite back the anger I wasn't ready to unleash. And then there were the little things. A lipstick-stained napkin he forgot to hide, a receipt tucked in his jacket pocket, the way his phone buzzed a little too often, a little too secretly. I caught myself staring at it, heart hammering, and I couldn't tell if it was fear, or the thrill of knowing I finally saw the truth. I felt small. Invisible. Forgotten. And yet, somewhere deep down, a spark was lighting. Quiet pain twisted into something darker, a slow, simmering fire. I told myself to stay calm, to act like nothing was wrong. But every tiny clue, every whispered lie, was building something, a reckoning that was coming. It all hit me at once. I was cleaning up the kitchen when his phone buzzed on the counter. A name flashed across the screen, one I didn't recognize. Curiosity gripped me, and before I even thought, I picked it up. And there it was. Texts. Photos. Laughing selfies. Late-night messages that weren't meant for me. Everything I had suspected, every nagging feeling, every tiny doubt, it was real. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, frozen, letting the reality sink in. His voice drifted from the living room, laughing at some stupid joke, completely oblivious to the storm he had ignited. My hand tightened around the phone, knuckles white. I'm done. This ends now. My eyes flicked to him for a split second, a calm, casual mask over a heart that was anything but. And then I looked back at the phone, at the undeniable proof of every betrayal. My chest was tight, my breath shallow, but my mind, clear. Every detail I had been silently noticing for months now clicked into place. The rage wasn't chaotic. It was calculated. Cold. And I knew, deep down, the reckoning I was about to unleash would leave him, powerless. And just like that, I realized the game had changed. I didn't lose control. Not yet. Instead, I let the anger settle, like a dark fog inside me, quiet but heavy. No crying. No shouting. Just a steady, cold clarity. Every lie he'd told, every secret he thought was safe, became pieces of a puzzle I was determined to solve. I started noticing the patterns. The way he left his keys on the counter. The way he checked his phone at the same times every night. The little routines he never thought anyone would notice. I smiled at him during breakfast, pretending everything was fine, while my mind mapped out every detail, every weakness. I bought a small journal that evening. I wrote it all down, dates, names, excuses, inconsistencies. Each page a blueprint. Every lie catalogued. The fire inside me wasn't chaotic, it was disciplined, precise, growing colder and sharper with each passing day. At night, I'd sit by the window, watching the frost creep across the glass. The ice mirrored what I felt inside, calm, untouchable, yet ready to cut. He didn't see it. He couldn't see it. And that gave me power. The person I had been, hurt, overlooked, silenced, was gone. In her place was someone patient, calculated, and merciless. And soon, he would find out exactly what that meant. I started small. Little things that seemed innocent, returning a favor with a smile, making casual comments that planted tiny seeds in his mind. He laughed, oblivious, thinking I was still the same person he could take for granted. Meanwhile, I was collecting every scrap of information I could. Every hidden account, every secret contact, every lie he thought was buried. I memorized his routines. When he went out, where he went, who he texted. I left subtle traps, a forgotten note, a message that seemed harmless, a question that made him slip up without realizing it. And each time he did, I noted it. My journal was filling fast. My plan was coming together piece by piece. There were tense moments, too. A friend almost slipped, asking if I had seen the texts. My heart raced, but I kept my calm. One slip, one glance, and everything could unravel. Another time, he left his phone on the couch, buzzing with a new message. I froze, my hand hovering, but I didn't touch it. Patience was part of the game. Every day, he grew more careless, more confident, unaware that I was always 3 steps ahead. I watched him, smiled when he joked, nodded when he bragged, all while the fire inside me simmered. And still, I knew this was only the beginning. Because what I discovered next would change everything. The night came, and everything fell into place. I invited him over under the guise of a quiet dinner, just the two of us. But the moment he stepped inside, I could see it in his eyes, that little flicker of confidence, of thinking he was still in control. I stayed calm. Smiled even. Served the drinks. And then, casually, I set the first piece in motion. The photos, the messages, the receipts, I laid them out one by one, like evidence in a case he never thought would exist. His laughter froze. His hands trembled. The mistress? I had her there too, a silent witness to every truth he had buried. Surprised? I asked softly, almost like a friend, while inside I was cold as ice. Every word he stammered, every excuse he tried to throw out, fell flat. He realized too late that he had never been in control. Every move he thought was secret, every lie he thought hidden. I had seen it, documented it, and used it against him. Glasses shattered on the floor, paper scattered like confetti of his downfall. And in that moment, he wasn't just embarrassed, he was powerless. Humiliated. Stripped of every mask he wore. And if you think revenge can be this calculated, don't forget to subscribe to Stories by T.E. I watched him shrink under the weight of his own choices. And finally, the fire that had been simmering for months, the cold patience, the planning, it all came alive. He had underestimated me, and that was his biggest mistake. He didn't move. He couldn't. Words failed him, his face pale, eyes wide, as if the reality of everything he had done finally hit him. The mistress didn't speak either, just stared, frozen, caught in the wreckage of a life that wasn't hers to claim. Around us, everyone else seemed unsure where to look, their silence loud, heavy, suffocating. I could almost hear the thoughts swirling in their heads. How did this happen? How did she know? I didn't wait for answers. I didn't wait for apologies. I walked out, slow, steady, letting the chaos behind me settle like ashes. My heels clicked on the floor, a rhythmic reminder that I was free, untouched, unshaken. Before leaving, I paused, set a small candle on the table that had illuminated our final confrontation. Its flame flickered, then caught the edge of a letter I had left behind. Paper curled and burned, smoke curling up like the last ghost of what used to be. A small act, but symbolic, closure, finality, my own power marked in fire. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Whatever remained in that room, in their eyes, or in their hearts, was theirs to live with. I walked out into the night, the cool air brushing against my face, and for the first time in months, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: peace. Not relief. Not happiness. Peace. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting them, it's about reminding yourself that you were never as weak as they thought. Every plan, every careful step, every quiet day of watching and waiting, it wasn't just about him. It was about me. About proving, to myself first and foremost, that I could survive betrayal and come out stronger, sharper, untouchable. I glanced at my reflection in a store window as I walked past. The flickering streetlight caught my face just right. I smiled, calm, confident, unshaken. The kind of smile that knows it has nothing to regret. Secrets, strength, and fire lingered in me, tucked beneath the surface, ready for whatever came next. And deep down, I knew, this chapter was over. But the story I had written for myself? That was just beginning. As I disappeared into the night, leaving the chaos behind, I couldn't help but wonder, was it too far, or not far enough? I want to hear what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments, be honest. Could you have done what I did? Or would you have stopped yourself? And if you want more stories like this, stories of betrayal, revenge, and the dark truths people hide, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Stories by TE. The night was quiet now, my silhouette fading into the streetlights, but the echoes of what happened, those would linger forever. The house was silent now, every corner holding a memory of what had been. Shadows stretched across the walls, long and dark, like ghosts of secrets that would never die. I spoke quietly to myself, more as a truth than a whisper. In the end, betrayal teaches one lesson: the heart remembers, but revenge never forgets. The camera would slowly pan across the empty rooms, lingering on the broken glass, the burned letter, the faint echo of what had happened. And outside, the night carried on, indifferent, leaving only one certainty: some actions leave marks that time cannot erase.